One morning, little Ryan was overwhelmed. His favorite toy was missing, and the frustration inside him spilled out fast. He pushed the door open too hard, kicked off his shoes, and shouted words he didn't really mean. In that moment, it felt like the whole day had turned against him. We've all been there, haven't we? When something small goes wrong and suddenly everything feels heavy. Anger rises before we even notice it happening. Across the room, Grandpa sat quietly on the couch. He didn't scold Ryan. He didn't rush to correct him. He simply watched, calm, patient, present. Because sometimes the best lessons don't begin with words. They begin with space. That quiet moment, filled with emotion and silence, was the beginning of something important. Not just a lesson about anger, but a lesson about strength, choice, and the power of how we respond when emotions take over. After a moment, Grandpa finally spoke calmly, almost playfully. "Ryan," he said, "go back to the door and say sorry. Then say sorry to your shoes, too." Ryan froze. "Sorry? To a door?" he asked. "And my shoes? Grandpa, that's silly." Grandpa smiled. "You slammed the door in anger. You threw your shoes in frustration. If you can direct anger toward them, you can also offer kindness." Ryan grew quiet. Then Grandpa added something unexpected. "If getting angry feels normal, then saying sorry should feel even more natural. Because apologizing isn't weakness, it's strength." Think about that. We often believe power comes from being loud, from being right, from letting anger out. But real strength? It shows up when we pause, reflect, and choose humility instead. That small request wasn't about the door or the shoes. It was about teaching Ryan how to face his emotions with courage and control. Grandpa leaned in and spoke softly, as if he didn't want to disturb the moment. "Anger is a kind of connection," he said. "When you slammed the door, you connected to it through anger." Ryan looked up, surprised. "But here's something important," Grandpa continued. "If your actions can create pain, they can also create peace. The same hands that push can comfort. The same voice that shouts can heal." He paused, letting the words settle. "You always have a choice. Anger feels automatic, but love is intentional." How often do we forget that? We react before we think. We let emotions lead instead of values. Grandpa wasn't telling Ryan to never feel angry. He was teaching him something deeper. Anger doesn't have to be the ending. In every moment, we get to choose what kind of connection we make with anger or with love. And that choice can quietly change everything. Grandpa spoke again, this time more gently. "Anger isn't just a feeling," he said. "It's a way we connect with the world. When you slam a door or throw something, you leave a mark on things, on people, and on yourself." Then he added, "But the same is true for love. Actions done in anger can hurt, but actions done with kindness can calm a room, soften a heart, and bring peace where there was tension." Ryan listened closely. "Here's the choice," Grandpa said. "Anger happens fast. Love takes intention. But love is always stronger." He wasn't telling Ryan to ignore his feelings. He was teaching him to respond, not react. Think about it. Every moment gives us two paths. One deepens anger. The other opens understanding. And when we choose love, even in small ways, we change the connection we create with the world around us. Slowly, Ryan began to understand. His anger hadn't helped him find his toy. It hadn't made the day better. It had only made his heart heavier. So he stood up. He walked back to the door and placed his hand on it. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. Then he looked at his shoes and added, "I shouldn't have taken my anger out on you." Nothing dramatic happened. No magic. But inside Ryan, something changed. Grandpa stepped forward and wrapped him in a warm hug. "That took real strength," he said. "You didn't let anger win. You chose love instead." And that's an important moment for all of us. Strength isn't about never getting angry. It's about what we do next. When we pause, take responsibility, and choose kindness, we don't just calm the situation, we grow. In that small apology, Ryan took a big step toward emotional strength and self-control. Grandpa looked at Ryan with gentle eyes and said, "The world already has enough anger, enough shouting, enough conflict." He paused, then added, "You can't put out fire with more fire. You need water. Anger doesn't disappear when we fight it with more anger. It only grows. What truly calms it is love, forgiveness, and understanding." Ryan nodded slowly. "I'll try," he said. "I'll try to answer with love instead of anger." And that's the heart of the lesson. Feeling angry is normal. We're human. What truly defines us is what we do with that anger once we feel it. Do we let it control us, or do we choose a better response? Stories like this remind us that growth begins with awareness. When we learn, reflect, and choose love over reaction, we don't just change ourselves, we help make the world a little more peaceful, one moment at a time.